Hi everyone, this is Liz from Creative Life of Liz, and I'm here to share a few Christmas cards that I've made with this paper pad by Craftsmart called Evergreen Cabin. I got it from Michael's several years ago, so I don't think they have this particular one anymore, but I will link down below whatever I can find. But it's a fun paper pad, and my grandma needs some Christmas cards, so I want to get them to her well ahead of time. So I made a set of 18 Christmas cards. I'm just going to walk you through what goes into them at this point. So basically what I started with is I picked, I had this paper, this background that's black. I had enough of it left to cut for 2 backgrounds. These cards are 6.5 by 5 inches. Not sure why they're that size, but that's what they are. So I cut paper at 6 by 4.5 so that I end up with like a 1/2 inch border total, so a 1/4 inch on each side. So I had enough of this black paper already cut and used part of to make 2 backgrounds. So I started with that, and then I took 4 more papers, and I could make 4 backgrounds for each of those, and that will give me my 18 backgrounds. So that is what I did. I pulled out those and cut all of those, and then I started using scraps from those pages as well as from all the rest of my scraps to be able to make the cards. So I started out with this black background, and then I also had 2 that were just this plain kind of pattern. There was a house design on the bottom half of that page, but I had 2 of each of these, so I decided to make paired cards so that we would have 1 each kind of situation, so that they would go faster and they're cute. So I just took a couple of scraps going across. These Warm and Cozy and Blessings are both additional scraps from this paper. These little houses were pulled from the scraps from the paper that I cut as background that matches that. And then I just wrote Merry Christmas across in a gold Sharpie, and I think they turned out really cute. Inside every card, it looks the same. I just stamped Have a Holly Jolly Christmas. They all match like this, but hopefully that'll work out pretty well. So that was design 1. I then still had 2 of those backgrounds left. So this is design 2. I had some strips of this paper left. This is after I cut the backgrounds out of this kind of house paper. And so I cut 2 tall rectangles here, and then I did a couple scraps and a little flag scrap. So I kind of alternated so that it would be a little bit more interesting, and a couple more of those little black strips just to kind of put something that's kind of like a sentiment on here so that they would be pretty interesting. The third thing I dealt with was the second half of that paper, which is these houses on the bottom. So these I thought could be very simple, and I just made some flags from some scraps, and then I did a couple of the little sentiments that were from that black paper. So this one says Let It Snow, and this one says Merry Christmas. Again, very simple, but I thought that they would work out pretty well. So then we get to the chunk in which we have 3 paper backgrounds left that I have 4 backgrounds of each of them. So I made sets of cards in groups of 3. So I did these 3 cards all together in the same design, where I did the background, and then I did a vertical strip, and then I had some sort of rectangle here. I took the rest of the house as the start here, and then I put Warm Wishes and Snowflake Kisses from that black sheet. And then I had these 2, which were just that plain paper, this plain like blue with snow kind of situation. So I put some of the wood paper on top, and I did 2 quotes. I ended up writing these in gold Sharpie and then outlining with a skinny black Sharpie because the gold didn't show up that well otherwise. And so this one just says it's the most wonderful time of year, and then this one is 'Tis the season to be jolly. Both of them just with like a little extra decor to make them cute, but all done there. The next set of 3 that I did to go together looks like this. So both of them have little flags, and then they have kind of like a strip across and then a skinnier strip with the sentiment. This one, I just cut some of this black, and Christmas Wishes is in the middle, so I thought that that turned out pretty well, and there's a bunch of sentiments, so I just left it as is. And then both of these have the Merry Christmas in gold Sharpie on the red. And then the third set, this is where I kind of freelanced a little bit. So I wanted to do this diagonal design, but it does not look good on the plaid because the plaid diagonals wouldn't match. So I did this card kind of as a one-off with a little flag, a sentiment strip here where I wrote Merry Christmas, and then I just did a couple of these little skinny black pieces. This one says Holiday Cheer and Be Jolly, and this one says Peace on Earth, December 25th, just to kind of give it a little more interest. And then these two go together with this diagonal with a strip of the plaid, a strip of the little black sentiments, and then I did a strip. Both of these are green or black in this case, little leftovers that go along the top of a page. It looks like this. So it's like a 12 by 12, but then there's a strip to connect it to the book. And so I used pieces of those strips and then wrote Merry Christmas in gold Sharpie on those. And then the final set that I had one more group here. And so for these, I was trying to do this kind of like vertical with flags going across. This one looks slightly different because of how much paper I had left. I just did it a little bit skinnier over here. But I had the wider vertical strip and then a skinny, that's that leftover connector piece again. And then I did a flag of something that I had a scrap of, tiny flag up here of something I had a scrap of. And then I used some of those more connectors with little diagonals where I wrote Merry Christmas on all of these. So they ended up essentially the same. The proportions are just a little different on this page because of the scrap pieces that I had left over. But that's all I have. So this is 18 cards. That should be sufficient for my grandma for what she sends out at this point. So I am done with making cards for her. Now I just have to worry about cards for me. But I have a little bit more time with those because I don't have to kind of arrange to get them not near home. Anyway, so that's all I have for today. As always, please like and subscribe below if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. It helps me out. Let me know if you've already started making Christmas cards or holiday cards. And if you have not, let me know when you plan to start or if you plan to start. If you already have, please share or let me know what papers you're using, what you're excited about, any of those kinds of things. If you don't have anything that you want to leave down in the comments, just leave me a snowflake emoji just to say hi. I would love to hear from you. And then follow me on Instagram at Creative Life of Liz. I show some paper project stuff as well as my planners, bits and pieces of my life, what I'm reading, all that good stuff. And until next time, bye.